Hello viewers, on your demand, I have made videos on specimen paper of maths and science all subjects. Now we are coming back to our regular syllabus. Now we are going to discuss total internal reflection in a prism. First of all, we are going to discuss its first type, which is a right-angled isosceles prism. It means a prism in which one angle is of 90 degree and other two angles are of 45 degree. Now, a prism having an angle of 90 degree between its refracting surfaces and other two angles each equal to 45 degree is called a total reflecting prism. Total reflecting prism is called so because if light is incident normally on any of its faces, it suffers total internal reflection inside the prism. It can be used for three purposes. First of all, it is used to deviate a ray of light through 90 degree. In this case, we draw a prism like this, which is a right angled prism in which one angle is of 90 degree, and if these two sides are equal, it means these two angles are equal, it means 45 degree. A light ray which is incident normally on any of its surface passes undeviated. When it strikes this surface here, it makes 40 angle of 45 degree with the normal, and we know that critical angle for glass air interface is 42 degree and 45 degree is greater than 42 degree. It means angle of incidence is greater than critical angle. So ray suffers total internal reflection inside the prism and ray is bending towards the base of the prism, making an angle of again 45 degree with the normal. Because it is striking at an angle of 90 degree, it passes undeviated here also. So second ray will also strike, it passes undeviated, here strikes with the normal, making an angle of 45 degree, again making an angle of 45 degree and passes undeviated. So you can see this prism is used to deviate a ray of light through 90 degree, 45 plus 45. So total it is 90 degree. To deviate a ray of light through 180 degree, we need to put the prism in a different position in which a ray of light should enter the prism through its hypotenuse side, longest side. So this is the light ray entering inside the prism from an object PQ. So first ray, which is incident, normally passes undeviated. When it strikes this surface here, this angle is of 90 degree and this is 45 degree, and we know that angle other than 90 degree is our angle of incidence, so makes an angle of 45 degree with the this side. Suppose this is ABC. Now when this angle is 45 degree, it means again angle of incidence is greater than critical angle, so it goes like this in the prism parallel to the base. Now when it strikes this surface, again 90 and 45, it means 45 degree angle of incidence. Here also it comes back in the prism, TIR again happens and ray passes undeviated. Second ray goes like in the same way, passes undeviated, strikes the surface, first surface AB, making an angle of 45 degree, becomes parallel, again making an angle of 45 degree and goes straight. It means here also 45 degree, here also 45 degree, because when total internal reflection occurs, then angle of incidence and angle of reflection become same. So it means our image is at this point, which is P dash Q dash. Now here you can see the deviation of ray is 45 plus 45, it means 90, and plus 90. It means total deviation of ray of light is 180 degree. So this prism is used to deviate ray through 180 degree. Now to erect the inverted image without deviation, we need to place the prism in the same position, but the ray of light is incident in a different way. This is our prism ABC. This is angle of 90 degree here 45, again 45, but rays incident from, not from hypotenuse, here this is from hypotenuse side, but in this case we are taking it like this. Suppose this is our inverted object is placed, P, Q. So this ray is incident. Now this ray is entering from rarer medium air to denser medium glass. It is bending towards the normal, and when it strikes the base, it makes an angle of 45 degree. It means critical angle is, angle of incidence is greater than critical angle. It means TIR again happens. So when TIR happens, it goes inside the prism, and now it comes out because it is again entering from denser medium to rarer medium. It is coming and becoming parallel to this ray BC. Here this line, this ray is parallel to BC. Here when it is emerging out, again parallel to BC. Now second ray strikes the first surface, bending here 45 degree, again TIR happens, ray coming out from the prism becoming parallel to the base, and we get the erect image P dash Q dash of this inverted object PQ on this side of prism. We have just seen how a total reflecting prism due to its behavior is used for three different purposes. When it is used to deviate a ray of light to 90 degree, it is used in a periscope. When it is used to deviate a ray of light through 180 degree, then it is used in a binocular or in a camera to invert the image. And when it is used to erect the inverted image without deviation, it is known as an erecting prism, and it is used in a slide projector. Now we are going to talk about a prism which is equilateral, having all the angles are of 60 degree. So when a ray of light striking normally on the surface of a prism making an angle of 90 degree, it passes undeviated. But when it strikes this surface, it makes an angle of, because all the angles are of 60 degree, so this incident ray makes an angle of 60 degree with the normal, and we all know that 60 degree is greater than 42 degree. It means angle of incidence is greater than critical angle. So ray suffers total internal reflection and it comes back in the prism making an angle of 60 degree. Now if we produce this ray further, it makes an angle of again 60 degree. So it means this ray is striking on this surface at an angle of 90 degree. So it passes undeviated outside the prism. So this prism is used to deviate a ray of light through 60 degree when it passes from this equilateral prism. But in some cases, it might happen that this is given in the question that critical angle for glass air interface is 60 degree. If this is given, then the prism, we need to draw the prism like this only. Rays incident normally on this surface, it passes undeviated. With the normal, it makes an angle of 60 degree. But if it is given that critical angle is 60 degree, then ray will go like this, because here it makes an angle of 90 degree with the normal. So ray can go like this if it is given that critical angle is 60 degree. Now we are going to discuss third type of prism, which is a right angled prism but having an angle of 30, 90 and 60 degree. So in this case, this is 90 degree, this is 30 degree and this is 60 degree. We are going to discuss first case in which a light ray is entering from this A, B and C, from this side AB, and it is striking the surface and passes undeviated. When it passes undeviated, it strikes this hypotenuse side, and here it makes an angle of 90 and 60, so make an angle of 60 degree. Now we know that again 60 degree is greater than 42 degree. It means angle of incidence is greater than critical angle. So here TIR happens and ray goes inside the prism making an angle of 60 degree. When it strikes this surface, it makes angle of 30 degree with the normal, and when it makes an angle of 30 degree, it is coming from denser to rarer medium, it is bending away from the normal. So this angle which it makes on this side of the prism, it means emergence angle is more than 30 degree and less than 60 degree. So this type of prism is used to deviate a ray of light less than 60 degree, through less than 60 degree but more than 30 degree. So this type of prism can be used. Here TIR is happening. Let us discuss two other cases where TIR will not happen. Prism will remain in the same position 90, 30 and 60 degree. But here light is coming from perpendicular side. ABC, suppose light is coming from this AB side. Now as light ray is coming straight, it goes undeviated. It here it is normal. It makes an angle of 30 degree with the normal and enters from, now 30 degrees less than critical angle. So here TIR will not happen, and ray is entering from denser medium to rarer medium. It bends away from the normal. It goes like this. So this angle is more than 30 degree and again less than 60 degree. In the third case, when the position of the prism remains the same, but light is incident this time from the hypotenuse side. When light is incident from this side, here this is angle of 60 degree, angle of 30 degree and angle of 90 degree. When ray is entering from this side, it passes undeviated because it is striking normally on this side, and when it strikes on this surface, it is entering from denser medium to rarer medium, it passes away from the normal, making an angle. Again here angle is 30 degree and here it is more than 30 and less than 60 degree, it is emerging out. But here one exceptional case is also there, when incident ray is striking near the bottom of the hypotenuse. Prism positions remain same, but ray is striking near the bottom. So when it strikes near the bottom, here angle of 90 degree, it means it passes undeviated, but it strikes on the base of the prism. Here it is angle of 60 degree. Now it makes an angle of 60 degree with the normal and TIR happens here. Now this ray will go inside the prism, making an angle of 60 degree. Now when it strikes on this side, an angle of 30 degree. So with the normal it makes angle of 30 degree and come out from the prism making an angle more than 60 degree. In all of these cases you have seen that deviation is more than 30 degree and less than 60 degree. The difference lies the ray of incidence enters in the prism. Here it is entering from the base side of the prism. Here is it is entering from the perpendicular side of the prism. Here it is entering from the hypotenuse side of the prism, and here same case, but here the position of the incident ray is near the bottom of the prism. So here TIR happens, but in these two cases TIR will not happen. In first case TIR will happen. Now we are going to discuss about some consequences of total internal reflection. First is, on a hot sunny day, a driver may see a pool of water on a wet road in front of him at some distance. It is the phenomena of mirage, which is often observed in deserts. Mirage. An empty test tube placed in water in a beaker with mouth outside the water surface shines like a mirror when seen at certain angles. A crack in a glass vessel often shines like a mirror. Fourth is, a piece of diamond sparkles when viewed from certain directions. Last is, an optical fiber is used to transmit a light signal over a long distance without any loss of energy. Any of these reasons can be asked in your examination. You just need to write that this is the consequence of total internal reflection. You will straightway get 1 mark, and for another 1 mark if it is given, then you need to explain them also. Now our last topic is the difference between TIR, total internal reflection, and normal reflection from a plane mirror. Normal reflection from a plane mirror. So our first point and first point. In TIR, it takes place only when light passes from a denser medium to a rarer medium at an angle of incidence greater than the critical angle for that pair of media. Second, reflection. It takes place when light is incident on a plane mirror from any medium at any angle of incidence. Second point is TIR, the entire light is reflected. Here, only a part of light is reflected while rest of it is refracted or absorbed. In third point, you might write that there is no loss of energy. Here, loss of energy is there. Fourth point, the image is much brighter in the case of TIR and brightness remain unchanged even after a long use. Here, the image is less bright and brightness gradually decreases because the silvering on the mirror becomes old and rough. So these are the 4 points of differences in these two, TIR and reflection. These may be asked in your examination. Last question which I want to discuss with you is the relation between critical angle and refractive index. So derivation is not required. You just write the relation between these two, that A mu G is equal to 1 upon sine C or is equal to cosec C. You just need to learn this relation. Although we can derive it also, very simple derivation is there, but derivation is not required. With this, we come to the end of this chapter, refraction of light at plane surfaces. I think the numericals in this chapter are very simple. You might be able to solve yourself. Still you have any doubts, you can tell me in the comment section. I will make another short video for them also. Thanks for watching and for the nice comments which give me encouragement and motivation. Thanks to all of you.